BlackJupiter Agent Random, wake up everyone, we have Kingdom Hearts 4 news. Up, hibernation is over. Well, that's assuming the cold winter of Missing Link's pre-release didn't kill you first. I know we're a little past the point of this still being hot off the presses, but you know what? I said that the last time we talked about this game, so maybe that's just a BlackJupiter way of things. Being the first ones to be the last ones to report on Kingdom Hearts 4 specifically. Okay, about a week ago, Square Enix released 9 new screenshots of Kingdom Hearts 4, seemingly as a peace offering to not storm their office. As if that would stop me, can you imagine? If the lack of sustenance recently has frazzled your memory, let me take it from the top. 3 years ago, Square Enix announced Kingdom Hearts 4, the direct follow-up to the previous entry, Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. At the same time, they announced a new mobile game to replace Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. This game went through a surprising amount of development hell for a game that, as far as I can tell, was freaking finished like a year ago. So much so that they decided to cancel it out of the blue. Okay, not like totally out of the blue, because the lead programmer was spotted listing the game on his resume as if he was done with it. We probably should have known. People were understandably upset that we waited 3 years for this game. Some of us got to play it even, only for it to be wiped from the face of this earth. Especially since during that entire time, we got hardly any new content when prior to that, Kingdom Hearts had been a mostly annual franchise. Back in the 2000s, we'd usually get at least a game a year, and the 2010s would keep the franchise alive with HD ports or major updates to mobile or browser games when there wasn't a big new game happening. Comparatively, Square's been doing a pretty rotten job keeping the Kingdom Hearts fanbase active during the first half of the 2020s. It hasn't been all bad. We got Kingdom Hearts 3's Remind DLC, the Union Cross ending, and Sora and Super Smash Bros. But we also got Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, which despite having a pretty fantastic story, had really bad gameplay and a really bad release schedule. The aforementioned Melody of Memory got mixed reactions. Basically, no one was happy with the Kingdom Hearts Cloud ports on Switch, and then all the while Missing Link and Kingdom Hearts 4 were out on vacation somewhere piling up voicemails on their answering machines. So yeah, people weren't happy to find out that after all of that, Missing Link wouldn't even be coming out at all. So to damage control, Square released 9 new screenshots of Kingdom Hearts 4, which suddenly is the next installment in the franchise. And everyone cheered! That's what we've been waiting for! Like, I was an avid Union Cross Key kid myself. I was so ready to live out my days in Scala at Kylum, just like I had in Daybreak Town before it. So I was bummed to hear about the cancellation of Missing Link, but I felt so dang rejuvenated to see Kingdom Hearts 4 in action again. Or really, to see it in still frame? I don't know. If you need a recap on what the deal with this game even was to begin with, I highly recommend my old analysis of Kingdom Hearts 4's reveal trailer. You know, the one where I promised that I'd make an analysis for the Missing Link reveal trailer, and just like the game itself, that ain't happening. But if you want to know why Sora moved into hyper-realistic graphics town, his exact home address, who this girl is, or why this game is simultaneously more connected to the world ends with you than you'd think, and also less connected to the world ends with you than you'd think, then go watch that video. For those of you with math skills, you might be noticing that there are only 7 screenshots in this image, and that's correct, but the English and Japanese social media accounts for Kingdom Hearts released 2 slightly different screenshots of both of the gameplay scenes. One of them is barely different, and the other one is hardly different. Let's look at the bottom row of these images and move our way up. Each of these shots seem to take place in the same cutscene and all come one after the other chronologically. So first, a Darkseid gets hit with a freaking airstrike or something. This is followed by a large explosion of light and a close-up of Sora looking at that explosion. The explosion has been speculated to be Riku, who we last saw making his way to Quadratum, or your Zora for round 2, or the secret boss of Neo the World Ends With You, since this whole scene takes place in the Expressway underpass where Neo's super boss is located. It's not that one, but I can sure hope. More than likely, this is just the particles left over from Darkseid's death. Curiously, Unreality is stated to be a world without light or darkness. So what the heck is that stuff? As I've speculated before, we may be witnessing light and darkness being introduced to this realm at the start of this game. These 2 attacks that hit the dark side are colored blue and yellow. Gives me Riku and Kairi vibes personally, but really this could be anything. It's somewhat reminiscent of how Ventus and Terra's Keyblades defeated a Darkseid in Birth by Sleep, but I don't really think there's any connection there. What I really hope this is that we're getting old Drakengard with this, and this is actually the Japanese military getting involved. That'd be so funny. Or maybe, no, because I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know squat about Drakengard. Sora's model here has also been touched up. His crown necklace has been made smaller. Whoa. One row up shows us Strelitzia looking so well lit. A dang telephone, and Mickey Mouse trying to escape from his local library without paying his late fees. The Strel and phone shots seem to be from the same scene, or at least the same setting. The color palette and lighting in both of these scenes are pretty similar. These both match the way that the scene of Sora waking up in Quadratum for the first time was depicted back in the reveal trailer. But what's most interesting here is the phone. This is an old-timey rotary phone. That's notable because Quadratum seems to be in vaguely the present day, possibly 2019 if the 104 building's outdated logo is anything to go off of. We do see smartphones and such, so the detail of a rotary landline being in place here screams important to me, if being the center image in this collage didn't do that already. There's a theory going around online that this is a wind phone, a sort of Japanese tradition where people would speak into an unconnected rotary phone as a way to speak with the dead. Sounds a little morbid, but this game is totally about the consequences of death, so that would be on brand. There's been speculation that this is the main way to get Kairi into the plot. Sora would quote-unquote call her on this phone. Although, personally, I'm more invested in the idea of Strelitzia calling her brother Loria, because that dude has thought that she's been dead for like millennia. I should note that wind phones are not typically just unplugged rotary phones in someone's apartment. They're usually in dedicated phone booths placed in a garden or other such natural environments. That's not to say that this isn't a wind phone or even won't be taking inspiration from the idea of a wind phone, but it's something to keep in mind. But the idea that this phone or other such phones are what connects Sora back to reality might be why it's paired with this screenshot of Mr. Miska Muska Mickey Mouse. Okay, quick shower thought. You know Toodles from Mickey Mouse Clubhouse? How sick would it be if he was a summon in a Kingdom Hearts game? Like, I want to bust out the Mystery Mouse Catool in this game's super boss. Or actually, no, even better. I want a villain to use it against me. I want a really dramatic, intense battle scene where the enemy's on his last health bar, only for him to stare at Sora with blood in his eyes and utter those two devastating words. Oh, Toodles. Okay, I need to get back to this analysis. If I had to guess, I'd say that this Mickey Mouse scene is likely from very early in the game, as seemingly every single one of these other screenshots is also from basically the start of the game. Mickey's little adventure here directly follows up where we left him in Melody of Memory, where he was tasked with investigating Scala ad Caelum, which is going to be super duper helpful since the game that we had dedicated to this place got less time in service than the World Ends With You live remix, and that's just sad. The architecture here also seems to align a lot more with Scala during the time period of Missing Link, rather than how it looked in Kingdom Hearts 3 and Dark Road. I do wonder how Mickey Mouse gets here though. Did he time travel, or is he in some sort of projection of the world? Or is this actually just Scala in the present day? We're never actually told what happens to Scala at Caelum after the events of Dark Road. As it's depicted in Kingdom Hearts 3, it's a reconstruction of Xehanort's memory of the place from when he peaked in high school. So the actual real Scala at Caelum could just be hanging out somewhere in gummy space, hiding behind the Jungle Book world or something. There are a few symbols around, and while I am no scholar on reading this made-up language that seems to be all over the place in Kingdom Hearts, I do not believe that these are symbols with currently known translations. Though the general design of these symbols does match the general design of previous Scala symbols that we've seen. This room contains two glowing points of interest, both green, but the one up here has an orange ring around it of some kind. I would not rule out either of these being a save point. The gameplay sequence seems to be pretty platformy, with likely no combat whatsoever since Mickey doesn't get a health bar here. This room has at least 3 levels with stairs connecting some of them, and Mickey seemingly needing to jump along these chandeliers to reach this section over here. Makes me wonder how much platforming we can expect to see in the game's main playable worlds. I say main playable world since it sure looks like Scala ad Caelum will not be visited by Sora for any significant length of time, otherwise it would have its own custom command menu style like Quadratum now has. I imagine that this world will play a similar role that the Realm of Darkness or the Land of Departure did in Kingdom Hearts 3. Playable in at least one sequence, but not something that the player can regularly visit. Heck, even though Scala had very little presence in Kingdom Hearts 3's base game, it still got a unique command menu. So I don't expect to be hanging out here learning to read with Mickey Mouse for very long. But this does reinforce that we do get at least portions of this game taking place in reality, and those parts of the game are rendered in Kingdom Hearts' pre-existing art style, seeing as Mickey looks like this and not like this. Alright, big ticket item now. Sora in a mob fighting quadratum. We'll mostly focus on the Japanese screenshot here, as that gives us a little more to chew on. I initially wanted to say that this was an optional mob fight on account of the yellow command menu as opposed to the red one they used for mandatory fights, but the command menu was also yellow for the Darkseid fight in the reveal trailer, and I don't imagine that you're just allowed to sort of peace out and go relax to Utagawa Parfait while Darkseid causes a national tragedy. Although the entire HUD in the reveal trailer is also totally just for show and has zero real functionality. Unlike the HUD in these screenshots, since Sora has taken some damage, used a magic spell, and used his entire EX meter. The HUD has undergone a few changes since we saw it last. Sora is now even poutier than he was before. Clearly, he was also upset about Missing Link's cancellation. The EX meter has been moved. Before it matched the position of the drive gauge in KH2 or the focus gauge in BBS. But now it's slotted into the same spot that its equivalent was in Kingdom Hearts 3, wrapping around Sora's health bar. The words EX have also been removed from the meter. This meter is likely used for that fancy new build command on the command menu. This is possibly what Sora's doing in these screenshots. He's manifested these chains to grind around on and deal damage to enemies. His shoes are glowing, potentially meaning that he's using flow motion here. There's a bar on the command menu that in most other Kingdom Hearts games denotes a style or form change of some kind. The command menu itself is now stylized to quadratum. Shibuya's 104 and Q front buildings are visible at its top, along with the Shinjuku government building in the distance, reconfirming that Shinjuku is a prominent part of this world to some degree. Also, it's another point of evidence that this world shares no canon with the World Ends With You game, since that town is beyond gone in that series. This building is notably where Yozora was seen in the Kingdom Hearts 3 secret ending. The menu also has this sort of black box on it. Haha, get it? Square, quadratum, ha 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 ha. Also, it's not lost on me that they may very well be teasing us about that dang black mystery box via the game's HUD. Or alternatively, this could just be like a placeholder icon where the triangle button's supposed to go. We had one of those back in the reveal trailer, but since that trailer was technically like a multi-plat trailer, they couldn't actually put a PlayStation button there. Might be the same deal here. Oh, also the command icons are roads, and that is cool. On a more practical level, Keyblade switching is now confirmed to be returning by pressing right on the D-pad. Possibly also left, but I wouldn't rule out that being for a second command menu tab like in Kingdom Hearts 2. The item button now displays how many items Sora currently has in his pants. Neat. This battle is being fought in literally the same exact spot as the 3 bottom screenshots with Darkseid. Notably, the advertisements in the back are different than the ones shown there in the Kingdom Hearts 4 reveal trailer. We see 3 different kinds of Heartless here, all hyper-realistic as Heartless tend to match their environment. Each of these Heartless are pure blood, which makes sense. Artificial Emblem Heartless were created by Ansem just after the events of Birth by Sleep. They would not be able to cross over into Unreality. These Heartless were likely manifested here with the introduction of the concept of darkness. So the Heartless emblem will likely be absent from the mob pools in Unreality. But these Heartless do all retain that heart-shaped hole thing that Darkseid has going on as a way to retain the Heartless iconography. There's 3 of these mechanical-looking Heartless. Not much to say on them aside from the fact that in their idle animation, they appear to make this new pureblood Heartless symbol with their clawed head thing. There's these armor-looking gauntlet boys. These are likely our large body stand-ins. The gauntlets in front mean that you have to attack them from the back. The one here in the middle is charging up an attack of some kind. And lastly, our shadows, or maybe Neo Shadows? We know there's some kind of Shadow family Heartless since they have no shadows of their own. These guys are really interesting because they're very humanoid, unlike how the Heartless look in reality. The Master of Masters cites in Union Cross that the darknesses he fought in times ancient by ancient standards were more human-like, so this could possibly be correlated to that. My guess is that these guys are what happens when the normies in Shibuya get exposed to darkness, and that our normal average brand Heartless is what happens when a Disney character gets exposed to darkness. And the final big takeaway from these screenshots is that Sora is wearing a smartwatch. I would guess that this is actually going to be pretty big and likely tied to some sort of gameplay feature, maybe not unlike the Gummy phone. He didn't have the watch back in the reveal trailer, and there was an advertisement for some sort of Libra smartwatch if you went out of bounds in Quadratum and KH3. So maybe it's that. Now, that was fun and all, but I think what we all really want to know is when we're gonna get to play the dang thing. Or at least when a new trailer is coming out. And I'm going to go bold and say soon. I cannot wait for this to age poorly. Here's the thing. Back in the KH3 pre-release days, we did not start seeing a fully functional HUD until the game was about a year and a half away from release, and we didn't start seeing the HUD stylized to each world until it was less than a year before release. Assuming that the development of this game started back in 2020, immediately after KH3's DLC was finished, the game would have now been in development for 5 years. And frankly, I think that the game was in some sort of development since 2019 when Kingdom Hearts 3's base game came out, since we now know that that's when Missing Link began development. But we'll say 5 years. KH3's development began back in 2013, but re-began in 2014 after switching to the Unreal Engine. The game would then end up releasing in 2019, but was actually finished in 2018. And a significant amount of that time was just spent learning how to use Unreal Engine 4. Kingdom Hearts 4 is being built in Unreal Engine 5, which the team effectively already knows how to use for the most part. So most of Kingdom Hearts 3's development took place over 4 years, and Kingdom Hearts 4's development has now exceeded that. I don't mean to say that the game's releasing tomorrow. Yeah, the team has a better idea of what they're doing, but Kingdom Hearts 4 also looks way more ambitious than Kingdom Hearts 3. But the point is that I cannot imagine Kingdom Hearts 4 would take years and years longer to make than Kingdom Hearts 3. I imagine that the reason that the team has been keeping quiet all this time is because they wanted to avoid a news cycle like Kingdom Hearts 3, where the game was effectively in promotion for most of the 2010s. Like, they would still try to get us yearly updates even though the game was nowhere near release. So when we get our next Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, I kinda expect it to be a year away from release at the absolute most. TLDR, the HUD being completely finalized like this has historically been a finishing touch, and I wouldn't imagine we get screenshots like this if the game was still years away from release. Or maybe I am just delusional, that is also an option. But what do you all think? Are we anywhere near the next trailer? Does this game even look good? Do you wish that Kingdom Hearts 4 got cancelled instead of Missing Link? Are you a liar? Tell me it all in the comments. And thank you to the wonderful BlackJupiter patrons who continue to be the coolest people on this side of the solar system. That's Bacon Insert Noun, Kaiser, Willpower 784, Wonderland Snack, The Missing Samurai, Venforia, and Amber Inc. Or maybe Amber Onk, I don't know. See you all in another month, goodbye!